Good evening, everybody. Chad of Firehand Cards here. Just wanted to do a little bit of a video to give my opinion on some of the stuff I've been seeing everybody post recently about the guys over at Backyard Breaks and the amazing big pulls that they've been hitting out of basketball and football products from Panini recently, and the conspiracy theories floating around about that kind of stuff. So anyway, if you've never seen myself before, some guys are going to find this video just because they're searching around for this kind of content right now. You might not be somebody that joins group breaks or watches boxes get opened regularly. That's what I'm on here for on YouTube. I'm a breaker. I've been breaking since 2008. Just a little background about myself, so I feel like I've got a little bit of insight into these kind of situations as to what I would imagine could be or possibly going on or not going on when everybody brings up these conspiracy theories about loaded boxes and certain breakers getting certain chase cards and that kind of stuff. So anyway, really quickly, I've been breaking since 2008. Started Firehand Cards, the actual company, in 2012, and the old YouTube handle is The Truth 17 with 2 T's in the middle if you want to go back and watch some videos. And then in 2012 we created the Firehand Cards YouTube channel, which we're still breaking on right now. I've been dealing with distributors, card shops, sub-distributors, private collectors and stuff, and acquiring my wax over the years from all kinds of different sources. So anyway, quickly was watching the Sportscardradio guys live show today, in which they had a bunch of guests come on. They're we want to call that, the little thumbnail on YouTube, said something to the extent of, the evidence was going to be shown, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I briefly hopped on there at the beginning, watched about, I want to say maybe 15 to 20 minutes of it. Got to see Doug from Mojo Break go on there, talk for a little bit. Was hoping to see some some kind of hard evidence, smoking gun stuff. Didn't really say anything like that. The most I saw broken down was some statistical data that some guys ran numbers on product odds and that kind of thing, the probability or the odds that it would take for these guys to pull these cards. So anyway, the quick background, if you're not familiar, I'm sure most people are, these guys at Backyard Breaks have pulled, I believe the 4 cards that everybody keeps noting are the Flawless Triple Logo Men, the one that is LeBron James on there 3 times, and the one of the Golden State Warriors. Then the Cade Cunningham National Treasures Logo Man Auto and the Cade Cunningham Prism Black Refractor 1/1. So these 4 1/1 cards, very big basketball cards, basically the chase hit cards, and those 3 different products. Currently the chase hit cards, obviously. Anything can happen in the near future, right? But anyway, right now those would be the cards that you'd be dreaming of hitting if you're opening those products, right? These guys at Backyard, they've pulled all 4 of those cards, as well as many other big time hits. I've seen screen caps of their Instagram, again on the Sports Card Radio channel. I haven't seen them myself, haven't gone to their Instagram myself, anything like that. I don't follow the Backyard guys. I've never seen them break a box outside of watching videos of the whole Trevor Lawrence Kaboom debacle, which I have to say, full disclosure, I think they absolutely handled that in the worst way possible. But who knows? The exposure that those guys got from flat out basically stealing a card away on live camera from their customer or giveaway potential customer. They were giving the box away, and then they saw they got a huge card, and they just decided to keep it for themselves because it was too valuable to give away. Years ago that would have been business suicide. Those guys pulled that off 5 years ago, 6 years ago, even breaking. Those guys would have never broken another box again. The community was so small back then that somebody pulled something like that off, they would just basically be blackballed. Nobody would join the breaks again. But I digress. Nowadays, those guys are huge on social media. They've got a gigantic following, and I believe that incident gave them a lot more exposure and allowed them to grow even bigger. So anyway, the chances of those cards being hit by those guys, I have to say my opinion is I just think that, I believe that there's nothing nefarious going on, despite the stuff that surrounded that Trevor Lawrence kaboom. And I remember when that happened, I was telling guys, look, people are going to be looking for these guys to do something wrong or find something wrong that they're doing wrong, and you're constantly going to hear their names pop up in a negative light. Anytime something happens, it's going to be put under a microscope, that kind of stuff. So, but I wholeheartedly believe, after my years of experience in this business, buying and selling wax and breaking, that sometimes you just get lucky and you get on a lucky streak and you hit cards. And when you're breaking as much volume, remember the volume that these guys are breaking. I'm only learning myself in recently. They've got, I don't know how many different breakers they've got. I'm hearing 10 to 12 different guys breaking. They're breaking 24 hours a day on 2 different channels. I believe they run in way more than the 2 channels, but there's 2 that are going 24 hours a day. You can just imagine the amount of wax that you can blow through if you had 10 people breaking every single day and some going 24 hours a day. I couldn't even wrap my head around how much they're breaking, but I heard numbers just about like National Treasures basketball, 16 boxes a day right now, which is basically just 4 cases a day. That's a lot for where National Treasures is right now. I don't think anybody's breaking that much National Treasures basketball right now. So you're breaking 4 cases a day, 7 days a week, 30 cases a week, somewhere around there, if the numbers stay consistent. That's a lot of National Treasures you're breaking. And I'm sure there's a lot more big cards they're hitting that are not just, it's not like just they bought 1 case, they hit the Kate Cunningham, then they bought 1 box of Prism First off the line and hit the Kate Cunningham, and they bought 2 cases of Flawless and hit the LeBron and the Warriors logo men. They're breaking a lot of stuff. And sometimes when you're breaking that much, the stuff, you just eventually going to hit it. Years ago, the guys from Platinum Cards, and still they break a ton of the high-end stuff too. They're blowing through Flawless, and they're hitting logo man after logo man off the stuff. And the same kind of theories come up. People are wondering, is Panini feeding these guys product? And absolutely not. When you're a breaker, there's only so much product that you're going to get. You're not getting it directly from Panini unless you own a card shop. You're going to get it from your distributors. You're going to get a certain amount on your allocation, and then after that, you've either got to go back to your same distributor and pay more money to get the product, or you got to go start buying from card shops or other dealers around the country. Wherever you can get your hands on it, you got to start getting more product. So, these guys are bringing in product from all over the place. What would it take for them to even get a loaded box that's planted with cards planted in it? I'm not even sure the chain of events that would have to lead up to that. You would have to have somebody on the inside, either at Panini or the packing facility, that was going to palm those cards, set them aside, or pack the case, take that case aside and set aside for, in the case of the LeBron and the Kate Cunningham. I mean, those cards are pulled so far after the product was released. Somebody would have to be sitting on those cases waiting, and then eventually say, okay, we're ready to hand these over to the backyard guys now. I think it's time for them to pull them. So I just think, you want to run numbers and statistics and see how hard it would be to actually pull them. I've got examples myself. Years ago, you'd have to have been in the hobby for a very long time to remember this, but if you search Attyball, ATTYBALL 23 on YouTube, back in 08, 09 and other years, but in 08, 09 Exquisite Basketball, these guys, Attyball 23, I think they broke nearly 200 cases of 08, 09 Exquisite Basketball, chasing Derrick Rose's RPAs, Michael Jordan patch autos, and you know what? I broke 5, somewhere between 5 and 10, I don't even remember how many we broke, 5 to 10 cases of Exquisite Basketball. And I pulled the 1 of 1 Michael Jordan patch auto and the 1 of 1 Derrick Rose patch auto. Both the chase cards in that product. Did I get them from Upper Deck directly, handed to me? Absolutely not. I got them, one I bought from my card shop, another one I think my card shop got from some distributor on the East Coast on dealing it B2B and shipped out to us. So it's just an example of, doesn't matter, you can have somebody breaking 100 cases of it. One guy buys 1 box and hits the major case hit, or it can work flip-flop the other way. Anytime you can run numbers and you can come up with probabilities, but anything can beat the numbers. So I just think wholeheartedly there's a lot of smoke in the air. Guys are looking for something to pin on those guys, looking for something to pin, some crazy drama between, Panini and a breaker or a major manufacturer, doing some nefarious stuff and handing some stuff off to somebody. And I just don't think there's anything there. Personally, I really don't. It was an entertaining show. Sportscardradio, I'm very entertaining. I like watching those guys' videos. I've been following their videos for quite some time. First time I ever saw them, I was back in 2012. I think it's 2012, maybe 2013, at the very first ever Breakers meeting at the Industry Summit in Las Vegas. It was a group of, I don't know, maybe 8 breakers, including myself in that room at the time. And they were there watching and tweeting stuff out as it went. But anyway, those guys put out good content. You might not agree with the stuff that they say, but they're always trying to look out for the guys that are in the hobby, for the end consumer. Make sure you don't get ripped off. They see something that looks a little sketchy, they're not afraid to call it out. So I applaud them for that. Had some good guests on there. A lot of other guys that I follow on YouTube recently. Got Rule from AIH Sports Cards, Dan the Card Man. I like those guys' content. So some guys, I'm sure if you're watching this video, you watch those guys' videos. I'm not on here talking about this kind of stuff anymore. I used to a long time ago, in my younger days, make videos talking about card stuff, but probably make a couple more in the near future. But I just wanted to have a little bit of insight in this kind of stuff. I could talk about it on end for a very long time, but I don't want this to be a crazy long video. One of the other things is that the guys kept bringing up over and over in the brief time that I was on there. They kept asking, Dan, they were talking about the amount of money that it would take to break all these boxes and cases, and the fact that the guys from Backyard have only been breaking for, I believe they keep saying 18 months or something along those lines. And the first thing that pops in my head is it's very easy. I've always told guys from the very beginning, and if you're a breaker and you want to get big, this is how you do it, okay? Things that those guys got going for them, a lot of people breaking on air all the time. Nowadays with card breaks, people are looking for action all the time. It's like being in Las Vegas. You just walk into the casino, put your money on the table, and gamble right away. People are looking for a stream. They're going to go to Twitch. They're going to go to whatnot. They're going to go to wherever all the new platforms are, and they want to give you money and have you open cards as soon as possible. So if you're able to be available for that to happen all the time, then people are going to give you money and you're going to sell cards. And on top of that, if you're one of the only people out there that's breaking a particular SKU, like National Treasures Basketball, Flawless Basketball, the people that have the money to spend on that product are going to catch wind of where they can get it, and they're going to keep coming back to you. So if you're sitting and you're breaking 4 cases of NT a day, you take that money, the next day you flip it out, you call up the distributor, buy more, and you just constantly turn the money over from those breaks, and those are high dollar breaks. The money adds up quick. Obviously you're taking money off, for your expenses to pay your company for running it. So I just think that in that time frame, I know they have to start off somewhere. They didn't just start off on day 1 with 12 breakers breaking 5 cases a day of NT, but you work your way up there, and they work their way up there with, I would assume, being consistent. Those guys are huge presence on social media from what I have. I'm not on Twitch or whatnot. I'm not in that stuff, so I've never watched them break anything. They're not on YouTube. I believe they break on those 2 platforms, which is why I've never seen it, but apparently they have huge followings on there. You got a bunch of 20-something-year-old guys with nothing else to do with their lives right now other than rip cars and party and have a good time. I'm sure they're going to build social media quickly. They're going to be on there with a lot of available time to just be pumping their product, pumping their company. So, there's time for growth and time for product turnover to make that money happen. So I'm not sure my opinions on this are going to be the popular opinion. All I can do is give you my honest thoughts about it. Could there be something going on? There always could be, I guess. Like I said, I've been breaking myself. I'm going to be 15th year when it comes up to Thanksgiving. It'll be 15 years of doing online breaks. So many guys have come and gone as far as breaks. So many instances of one breaker hitting a streak of big cards and then Everybody thinks they send them loaded stuff, you know, latent sports cards. It's the Luka Doncic logo man and something else. And Panini must be feeding. Of course Panini feeds the big breakers the cards, and you know, they say that all the time. So these guys are hitting monster cards. I think with all the people making more videos, you know, I'll pop on YouTube, you know, the content creators, these guys that are bringing sports card news out there. Keep bringing the news, by the way. I enjoy watching it, and I wouldn't hear about all this stuff if it wasn't for these guys' videos. Then the sports card radio guys, I mean, all we're doing is funneling more people to these guys. So just a bunch of free publicity, and people are wondering, why isn't Backyard Break saying anything about it? Why would they? What do they need to do? You guys are doing all of the marketing for them. This guy's just going to sit back and let you keep talking about how these breakers are pulling the biggest possible cards ever. Well, fuck. Go buy. Why don't you run over there and join their break so you can get one of the biggest possible cards ever, right? Silly stuff. So anyways, that's what I got, man. You guys leave some comments below. Let me know what you think, if you agree with what I'm saying or if I'm not. Tell me what you think. I'm sure this is a very polarizing subject. There's a lot of people that just want and need and hoped that there would be some smoking gun evidence that these guys are doing something crazy because they don't like them. Or there's going to be people that want to see that there's some smoking gun evidence because they want to know that Panini's backdooring stuff and doing stuff that they're not supposed to. I just don't think either of those things is happening in this instance. So let me know what you think. Please hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Throw that in there at the end. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Look for some more videos like this from me in the future. Just talking about stuff happening in the hobby. I'd be happy to bring it to you. Until next time, peace.